What's up, heroes? Bionixx, aka Bionixx, here in the kitchen showing you some helpful recipes that are easy, healthy, and delicious. First, we're going to do protein peanut butter cookies. You can do it with or without the chocolate chips, depending on where you're at and how strict you want to be. Basically, what we're going to do first is 2 cups of peanut butter. You can do natural peanut butter, you can do chunky peanut butter. I like chunky peanut butter because you actually get the peanuts in it, so it's really good. I try to get all natural, but sometimes if I'm doing a lot of baking, that's kind of expensive. So it's up to you. The all natural is definitely the better way to go. Healthier, cleaner, nothing added to it, which is good. So notice I'm using the spatula. So it's a rubber spatula. It just kind of helps it get in there clean. So you can kind of wipe it on the edges and make sure you're getting all of it. So we're going to do 2 cups of this. So you might not be able to tell, but it's still not quite level. So I'm going to put 1 more scoop on top there just to make sure we're getting the full cup. And then just a little clean it out. Get as much as you can out of there so it's as close to that 2 cups as we can get. I'm going to need to open another one. Crunchy is definitely the way to go in my opinion. But like I said, you can do whatever you like. And if you want to switch it up, you can do things like almond butter or cashew butter or things like that instead. Just to kind of switch it up, get different types of nuts in there. It's totally fine. Any kind of nut butter will work because it's still the same kind of texture. It's got the oils that you need and nice healthy fats. All right, so we have the 2 cups of peanut butter. Like I said, I chose the chunky peanut butter because I like that one better, but it really doesn't matter. We're gonna do 2 scoops. I use vanilla protein. You can use whatever flavor you want if you want to switch it up. Unflavored also works because you're really not needing to add any flavor to it. One of the perks of using the vanilla is it is a little bit sweet, so I don't actually need to add any sugar to what I'm making here, which is one of the benefits of this recipe. There's no sugar added to it. I am using Magnum Quattro, one of my favorites. It is very clean, it's a good quality protein, but ultimately it's not the end of the world if you use a different type. But this is my choice. So I'm going to do 2 nice level scoops, like so. And then we're going to do 3 eggs. Now I've already set the oven for 350 degrees. So it is already preheated. So once I have this all done, I have the cookie sheet ready with parchment paper. And we will mix it all up, make sure it's mixed nicely, and then we'll put them on the sheet. So I'm just going to use a fork because it's going to actually separate the eggs a bit better too, so the yolks don't stay intact. And you don't want to go crazy with the stirring at first because the protein powder will kind of poof up. You might lose some. So just to kind of keep it as tidy as I can while I'm cooking, I'm going to be a little more gentle with the stirring at the beginning. So you just want to make sure it's stirred up really well and that there's no extra powder in there. So what I kind of do is I tilt the bowl to get all the edges there as well. Make sure I'm getting all the protein powder. All the egg is mixed in nicely. So really, you just want to keep going until you don't see any chunks of egg yolk or any protein powder still. And it should be a nice texture, just like peanut butter at this point. So it's all mixed in nicely. So there's no liquidy areas or anything like that. It's all pretty much protein texture again. Well, not protein, peanut butter texture again. If you add too much protein, it will dry it out. So really stick with the 2 scoops I find to be perfect. And same with the eggs. You can do 2 or 3. 3 is going to help keep it a lot more moist. And it's not going to, again, dry out. So one of my secret ingredients in all of my baking is cinnamon. So I'm just going to, you can measure it, but I just kind of sprinkle it on. I'm pretty generous with the cinnamon because it is delicious. And then I also use a little bit of vanilla extract. Just adds just a touch, like so. I'm going to mix that in. Again, you want to mix it really well. Like I still see little areas of cinnamon. It's kind of all gathered in one area. So I'm just going to make sure I mix it in really, really good. Good. And then the last thing, like I said, you don't have to do this. If you're trying to be a little more strict with your food, then you don't add the chocolate chips, but you can kind of sprinkle them in just a little bit, like so. And I'm going to mix them in. And then we're all ready to put them on the cookie sheet. All right, so the cookie sheet is all ready. Parchment paper is on. The oven is ready to go. So normally I will use a spoon just to make sure that they're pretty relative in size. You don't have a big one, a small one. And it just kind of helps to keep everything together. By all means, use your hands, get dirty, no big deal. So just a nice little spoonful like that. You can use your finger to put it on. You don't have to, but as long as your hands are clean, it's fine. Just nice little scoops. They don't need to be like perfectly round or anything like that, but it is an option if you want, is you can actually put it in your hand, roll it into a ball, and then just press it with the fork. And that makes a nice looking cookie. So if you want it to be aesthetically pleasing as well, then you can roll them up. But you don't really have to do that. The oven is going to melt it down. It will still look like a cookie at the end of the day. But let's make them look pretty today. So this batch usually makes about 16 to 19 cookies, depending on the size you're making them. Again, smaller cookies, more cookies, big cookies, less cookies. Sometimes it's really fun to make a giant cookie, kind of like a cake. I've done that before. That's always fun. But notice I'm just kind of rolling them all in balls first. Really, I find it to just be a lot more efficient. I want to make sure I get a good size there. Make sure they're consistent. So basically just like a nice spoonful, scoop, roll, place. Super easy. Make sure they're spaced out nicely so they don't melt into each other. And then I'm going to take the fork and just gently press. And I do a little bit of a slide, so I'm not pressing and lifting because that actually might break up the cookie. Just nice, gentle touch. And voila. Nice looking cookies. I will show you the end result in about 10 minutes when they're done baking. So I usually keep an eye on them. You might have just heard the timer going off. I go 8 to 10 minutes. What you can do is kind of check on them, see if they start to have that golden brown on the outside of them. That's how you know they're ready. You don't want to overcook them because they're going to be dry cookies. Maybe you like the crunchy dry ones. I like the warm gooey ones. So this one keeps them nice and moist. So they're definitely ready. Make sure you wear your oven mitts before you take them out. So as you see, they look delicious. They have that nice golden texture just kind of starting on the edges, which means they are ready. And enjoy.